Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Slobodan Milošević, a controversial architect of late 20th century Balkan politics. Slobodan Milošević remains one of the most divisive and consequential figures in modern European history. As President of Serbia and later of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, he played a central role in the political upheaval and violent conflicts that accompanied the breakup of Yugoslavia in the 1990s. To some supporters, he was a defender of Serbian national interests. To much of the international community, he was a symbol of authoritarianism, nationalism, and wartime atrocities. His legacy continues to shape regional politics and historical memory across the Balkans. Early life and rise to power. Slobodan Milošević was born on August 20, 1941, in Požarevac, Serbia, then part of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. Coming from a family with political and academic backgrounds, Milošević was drawn early into civic life. He studied law at the University of Belgrade, where he met key political figures who would influence his early career. During the 1970s and 1980s, he climbed steadily through the ranks of the League of Communists of Yugoslavia. Known for his organizational discipline and talent for political maneuvering, he emerged as a significant figure within the Serbian political establishment. His public image changed dramatically in the late 1980s, when he embraced themes of nationalism and centralization, positioning himself as a champion of Serbian unity during a time of rising ethnic tension across Yugoslavia. Presidency of Serbia, nationalism and power consolidation. Milošević became President of Serbia in 1989, a turning point that coincided with renewed ethnic tensions and the decline of communist rule across Eastern Europe. Under his leadership, Serbia pursued policies that strengthened its autonomy within Yugoslavia and expanded influence over Serb minorities in neighboring republics. His speeches and political narratives stirred strong nationalist sentiment. While these policies strengthened his domestic support, they also contributed to worsening relations among Yugoslavia's republics, particularly Croatia, Slovenia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina, which soon sought independence in response to perceived Serbian dominance. Role in the Yugoslav Wars. The 1990s brought a series of devastating wars that reshaped the Balkans. Though Milošević often denied direct involvement, Serbia's support for Serb forces in Croatia and Bosnia was widely documented and criticized internationally. The conflicts were marked by ethnic cleansing, mass displacement, and severe humanitarian crises. By the mid-1990s, international pressure mounted. Economic sanctions and diplomatic isolation deeply affected the Serbian economy. Although Milošević played a key role in brokering the 1995 Dayton Agreement, ending the war in Bosnia, his reputation as a political leader was already defined by the violence and instability of the era. Federal presidency and decline of power. In 1997, Milošević became President of the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. His second presidency coincided with increasing domestic unrest, economic collapse, and a deteriorating international image. The Kosovo conflict became the central issue of his later rule, culminating in the 1999 NATO bombing campaign aimed at halting violence against Kosovo Albanians. Despite nationalist rhetoric, Milošević's support within Serbia eroded as living conditions worsened. After contested elections and mass protests, he was forced from power in October 2000. Arrest, trial, and death. In 2001, Milošević was arrested by Serbian authorities and transferred to The Hague to face charges before the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, ICTY. He was accused of genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes related to conflicts in Croatia, Bosnia, and Kosovo. Milošević conducted much of his own defense, insisting he was a victim of political persecution. The trial lasted several years but ended abruptly when he died in his cell on March 11, 2006, before a verdict could be delivered. Legacy. Slobodan Milošević's legacy remains deeply polarizing. In Serbia, opinions range from condemnation of his authoritarian rule to a persistent belief among some that he protected national interests during a historically turbulent era. Abroad, he is widely remembered as a central figure in the Balkan conflicts and as a symbol of political nationalism gone unchecked. The wars of the 1990s reshaped the region and left long-lasting scars. Milošević's leadership continues to be studied in discussions of nationalism, authoritarianism, and the challenges of multinational states. Political strategy and ideological approach. Milošević's political ideology evolved significantly over the course of his career. Early on, he appeared as a pragmatic communist technocrat, but by the late 1980s he embraced a form of nationalism that became the foundation of his power. His ability to tap into collective grievances, especially among Serbs who felt marginalized or endangered in other Yugoslav republics, allowed him to rapidly consolidate influence. He promoted the idea of a unified Serbian nation, emphasizing historical struggles such as the 1389 Battle of Kosovo and the suffering of Serbs during World War II. While these narratives resonated emotionally with many citizens, critics argued that he used them to inflame divisions and justify greater political control. Milošević's leadership style was marked by centralized authority, loyalty-based networks, and tight control over media institutions. State television played a major role in shaping public opinion, often presenting events in ways that supported his policies and discredited political opponents. Media influence and domestic political environment. Under Milošević's rule, media became a powerful tool for reinforcing political messaging. State-run outlets frequently portrayed Serbia as a victim of international conspiracies, external aggression, or disloyal republics within the Yugoslav Federation. Independent journalists and opposition voices faced harassment, intimidation, and censorship. Political pluralism technically existed after the introduction of multi-party elections, but Milošević's Socialist Party of Serbia dominated through a combination of political patronage, control of key institutions, and manipulation of electoral rules. Opposition parties struggled to gain influence, and street protests became a frequent outlet for dissent, especially among students and intellectuals. Economic decline and international isolation. By the mid-1990s, Serbia experienced severe economic hardship. International sanctions, corruption, mismanagement, and the financial strain of supporting military operations across the region led to hyperinflation, unemployment, and the collapse of public services. During this period, Serbia recorded one of the worst cases of hyperinflation in modern history. While Milošević maintained a core base of support through state sector jobs, party networks, and nationalistic messaging, many citizens grew increasingly disillusioned. Economic decline weakened his legitimacy and contributed to mass emigration, especially among young professionals seeking stability abroad. Kosovo and the breakdown of authority. Kosovo became the defining issue of Milošević's final years in power. The region's ethnic Albanian majority had long sought increased autonomy or independence. Tensions escalated in the late 1990s, leading to clashes between Serbian security forces and the Kosovo Liberation Army (KLA). Reports of widespread violence, forced displacement, and abuses by security forces drew international condemnation. NATO's intervention in 1999, with a bombing campaign that targeted military sites, infrastructure, and government buildings, marked a major turning point. Although Milošević portrayed the campaign as an attack on Serbia's sovereignty, it shattered public confidence in his ability to protect the country or negotiate effectively with foreign powers. The eventual withdrawal of Serbian forces from Kosovo and the establishment of international administration further damaged his political standing. Fall from power. The October 2000 revolution, the September 2000 elections represented a direct challenge to Milosevic's leadership. When early results indicated that opposition candidate Vojislav Koštunica had won outright, Milošević attempted to force a second round. This move triggered widespread protests, strikes, and acts of civil disobedience across Serbia. On October 5, 2000, hundreds of thousands of demonstrators converged on Belgrade in what became known as the Bulldozer Revolution. Government institutions were overwhelmed, security forces refused to crack down, and Milošević ultimately conceded defeat. His fall marked the end of an era and opened a new chapter in Serbia's political landscape. Historical memory and ongoing debates nearly 2 decades after his death. Debates about Milosevic's role remain intense. In academic circles, he is frequently cited as an example of authoritarian populism, demonstrating how nationalist rhetoric and institutional control can destabilize a multi-ethnic state. His trial at The Hague, though unfinished, produced thousands of pages of testimony and documentation that continue to inform historical and legal assessments of the Yugoslav wars.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.